What's going on, guys? Welcome in. It is week 14, the last week of the fantasy football regular season. I'm here with my running back rankings slash tiers to help you make those tough decisions because, look, we have a ton of buys in football this week. It makes those start sit decisions even harder. And on top of that, it's the last week of the regular season for fantasy football. Some of you guys are playing for seeding. Some of you guys are playing for maybe a first round bye. Some of you guys are playing to get into the playoffs, and some of you guys are playing to remain in the playoffs. But without further ado, let's just jump right into it. In tier one, we have Saquon Barkley. Saquon takes on the Carolina Panthers. Panthers have been the easiest matchup against running backs this season. He's my number one running back. They've given up 15 rushing touchdowns this year, and they've given up 51 receptions. They average 4.2 receptions to running backs per game, 23.9 fantasy points per game to the running back position. Saquon Barkley has been elite this year, and I expect that to continue in a smash matchup this week. Then we have Alvin Kamara of the New Orleans Saints going up against the New York Giants. Giants are seventh when it comes to points allowed to the running back position. Look, no Taysom Hill, unfortunately, just got injured. He's done for the season, and the Giants have been favorable, 18.5 points to the running back position. Then we have Chase Brown, and look, I don't know about you guys, but this guy looks like a league winner. Based on where you got him, he's been on fire this year, especially down the stretch these last few weeks with Zach Moss going down. He was an absolute steal this draft in fantasy football leagues, and some of you guys probably just picked him up off waivers. Then you have Bucky Irving here at 4. Bucky takes on the Raiders, who have been a little more pesky against running backs, 20th in points allowed. They're averaging 16.3, and if Bucky's healthy, fire him up, man. I can't keep him out of my tier one this week. You have Devon Achane taking on the New York Jets, 22nd when it comes to points allowed to the running back position. They're giving up 15.5 points, and Devon Achane, he makes his hay receiving and catching the football. The Jets have been pretty good. 3.7 receptions per game is what they give up. 44 receptions on the year. But, Devon Achane, since Tua Tagovailoa has been back, has been absolutely awesome. And you have to have him in your lineups, of course, but he's definitely in my tier one. And then to close out the tier, we have Bijan Robinson, who gets to the Minnesota Vikings. This is a tough matchup, guys. 31st when it comes to running back points allowed. They're only giving up 10.6 points per game to the running back position. I think this could be a sneaky high scoring game, could be a shootout here. Bijan has a chance to upset. There is risk here for sure. That's why he's at running back 6. For many people, he's probably a little bit higher, but I had to bump him down, but he's been phenomenal this year. In my tier 2, you have Jahmyr Gibbs starting off. He's facing the Green Bay Packers, 19th when it comes to points allowed to the running back position, just 15.8 points per game. Jahmyr Gibbs, he's been in a split role, but him and David Montgomery have both been able to eat. If there's even a chance, and I don't see it happening, but if there's a chance that he can get even just a little more volume, I mean, he's going to be even better. But I have him here as my running back 7. James Cook is my running back 8. He goes up against the Los Angeles Rams in a really favorable matchup, 11th when it comes to points allowed to the running back positions. They give up 116 rushing yards per game. That's up there in the NFL for the most. They're somewhere in like the top 5, I believe, to the running back position. James Cook looks awesome this week. Then give me Kyren Williams at 9. Kyren Williams going up against the Buffalo Bills, 8th against the running back position, 101 points allowed. They're giving up 6 receptions to the running back position per game this year, 72 catches. Kyren Williams is somebody who does catch the ball a decent amount. I expect that to continue this week in a possible game where they're playing from behind. Then you have Kenneth Walker here at 10. Kenneth Walker takes on the Arizona Cardinals, 99 yards per game the Cardinals give up. They've given up 7 rushing touchdowns this year, and Kenneth Walker has been a little bit disappointing the last few weeks. We need him to come through for us this week. Then you have Josh Jacobs, who's been an absolute bell cow. Jacobs plays the Detroit Lions on Thursday night. It's the highest point total on the week. I know it's a really tough matchup, but I expect there to be fireworks in this game, and it is a crucial matchup. They're going to Detroit. There is a lot of implications if the Packers can win this game, there is some possibility that maybe they can win the division. They're just a few games back. But I love how Josh Jacobs has been playing. Then you have Tony Pollard, who gets an awesome matchup with a great game script going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are second when it comes to points allowed per game to the running back position. They've given up 12 touchdowns to running backs, 20.5 points per game. Tony Pollard's workload has been phenomenal this season. Shifting over to tier 3, we have David Montgomery, just like Jahmyr Gibbs, a not a great matchup, but they've just been matchup proof this year, going up against the Green Bay Packers, who are 19th to running backs. James Conner goes up against the Seattle Seahawks, and look, let's be fair. James Conner didn't have a great week last time he played against the Seattle Seahawks. We expected better. The Seattle Seahawks defense is favorable to running backs, 13th in points allowed to the running back position. They're giving up 16.8 points to the running back position in PPR. I like this matchup for James Conner, who is probably pissed off. He's let us down the last 2 weeks. I'm not giving up on him yet. Then you have Tyrone Tracy, who at 15, you'll start to see a pattern here between Conner, Tracy, Breece Hall, and Aaron Jones. All 4 of these guys are a little bit murky. I don't hate the matchups, but they've all had some issues in the last few weeks. Tyrone Tracy, the matchup is awesome. 4th when it comes to points allowed to the running back position against the New Orleans Saints, but he's had fumbling issues. And, the Saints are giving up 19.7 points per game to the running back position, 3.8 receptions per game to running backs. They've given up a 13 rushing touchdowns to running backs. So hopefully Tyrone Tracy can hold on to that ball this week. And if he does, I expect him to be phenomenal. Then you have Breece Hall, who, look, the knee injury. He hasn't really been practicing this week. We don't know what to expect from Breece Hall. I can't take him out of my top 24 rankings, of course, but we do have to adjust appropriately. Tyrone Tracy, I would start over Breece Hall this week, to be completely honest with you. Breece Hall gets the Miami Dolphins 12th when it comes to running backs points allowed to the position. Then you have Aaron Jones in a stingy matchup against the Atlanta Falcons, who are actually 26 when it comes to points given up to the position, 13.2. Aaron Jones was saved by getting a touchdown last week, but he dropped a pass and fumbled as well. So a lot of murkiness in this tier here from 14 to 17. Then you have Najee Harris to close out this tier, going up against the Browns, who are 23rd when it comes to points allowed to the position. I expect this to be a decently high scoring game. Najee Harris has been really solid down the stretch, guys. Tough start to the year, but he's really starting to put things together. And I like him to round out our tier 4 here at the running back 18. Then you have tier 4. I'm sorry, I meant to say tier 3. Now you have tier 4, though. Rico Dowdle is kind of coming on a little bit, guys. 18th against the running back position. He gets the Cincinnati Bengals this week, who give up 16.2 points to the running back position. They've given up 12 rushing touchdowns this year. Rico Dowdle, as if they're playing from behind, I think there's a possibility Rico gets some receiving work here. I like the matchup for him as long as they don't, start giving the ball to old man Zeke. Let's just hope they stick to the better player in this backfield. Then you have Rachaad White, who, if you watched the video last week, Rachaad White did good, and I had him high in my rankings with Bucky. Both guys produced well. I look at Rachaad White as a low-end RB2. He's still going to get work in this backfield. He gets the Las Vegas Raiders 20th when it comes to points given up to the position. And then you have Isaiah Pacheco. I do have him as a low-end RB2 this week. There is some risk there. He gets a tough matchup against the Los Angeles Chargers, who are 28th when it comes to points given up to running backs, just 12.5 per game this year. And, there's a possibility he's splitting a little bit of time with Hunt. So we have to see how this plays out, but I still like him as a low-end RB2. Then you have Isaac Guerendo. Welcome to the NFL, Mr. Rookie here. CMC let a lot of people down. I'm sure a lot of people spent a lot of money on Isaac Guerendo. If you watch the show, Hoff, with a 49er fan, he's not in love with Isaac Guerendo. He thinks there's some risk there. I like him this week, though. 10th against running backs are the Chicago Bears when it comes to points given up, 17.6. I think this 49ers team needs to get going. It's almost like not a revenge game, but it's a get-right game for them. They need to bounce back against a favorable matchup here. Then you have Chuba Hubbard, who goes up against the Philadelphia Eagles. I love Chuba Hubbard, but 29th when it comes to points allowed to the running back position are the Philadelphia Eagles. They give up just 11.8. And unfortunately, Jonathan Brooks looks like he has a little bit of juice. He looked good in the limited time he played last week, and I expect him to get more touches this week than he got last week to close out the rankings. And the last tier, you have DeAndre Swift at 24. DeAndre Swift is kind of sneaky here. I could see him easily outproducing everybody in this tier. He goes up against the San Francisco 49ers, who are fifth when it comes to points allowed to the running back position. They gave up 18.9 points per game and have given up 14 rushing touchdowns. It's just a matter of which 49ers defense shows up. They have a lot of injuries. If Hufanga's back, if Fred Warner's playing, if Nick Bosa's playing, it could be a little bit tougher than the numbers might suggest. But I do like DeAndre Swift. He's a sneaky guy that I think could definitely outplay my rankings here. But that's going to do it for my video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Good luck this week. It's been an awesome season, and I'll have you covered for the playoffs next week. Don't forget to tune into our live shows. Hit that bell icon to subscribe and be notified every time we go live. Hit that like button and drop any questions or comments in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time.